We are back at it again with another One Piece discussion video, this time talking about something I never thought I would talk about, simply because this theory, has never once crossed my mind. And if you clicked on this video, you already know what it's going to be about. We are going to be asking the big question of, is Sabo a villain? Is he actually going to be an antagonist within One Piece? Will he fight Monkey D. Luffy, his brother? Just reading that title, just hearing me say that, this all sounds ridiculous. It sounds ludicrous, I know, because I even sound ridiculous to myself. Until I read this thread, and until I read some of the comments that people have left. Alright, so without further ado, let's get right into this thread. So the post says, there's something not right about Sabo. The way he laughs as well. There's definitely something wrong with him. He's laughing as he's crushing a person's skull, and the only reason he stopped was because Fujitora brought down a meteor on him. There's also a scene with him and Burgess saying Ace is saying he won't forgive you, while he's burning him alive, before again getting stopped by someone, this time Koala calling him with the transponder snail. I wonder if Oda is going to explore this side of him in the future, being the second in command of the Revolutionaries. I assume he has seen his fair share of death. Yes, I do want to play this clip, but I cannot play this clip. I am afraid of Toei, I'm afraid of copyright strikes. There is no reason to risk this, so instead, I'm going to be linking this Reddit thread down below, so you guys can come on here, you click it, watch it yourself. But if you've watched the Dressrosa arc, you know what happens here. He actually picks up a vice admiral, or a captain, I think he's a vice admiral. He starts crushing his helmet, so much so the guy's kind of begging him to stop. Sabo's eyes turn into the crazy killing spree Kaido's eyes, and he starts laughing. Even when I initially saw this in the manga and the anime, I thought it was a little bit strange. I was like, oh, you know, he's just really strong. Like, he's Luffy's brother, he's a little bit quirky. But when you really think about it, in the grand scheme of things, it's like, wait, there's no real good guys that act this way. And then you have Fujitora, a guy that really just can sense people's aura. Like, you see him at the end of Dressrosa, he can see everybody's aura and everybody's all happy and willy-nilly, and they're like, oh, all these people like Luffy. And then in this scenario, if you put that into perspective that, oh, Fujitora can tell your aura, he can see what you're feeling, he can sense your malice. What if Fujitora, when they slightly cut to him, he actually senses Sabo's evil aura, and that's why he stops him with that meteor? This is a really cool theory, because if this were true, this would be such a great villain for Luffy to fight. Not only is he his brother, not only does he have Ace's powers, but it's just he's working with his dad, and like there's so much at stake if he were to fight Sabo. And you know, I'm not all for this theory, like I'm not like putting all my chips down, but I do think it is interesting to see what people have to say and to see what people bring to the table. All right, now my favorite part, into the comments. So if Sabo has an indulgent sadistic streak, that would certainly give him a bit more character, enough to shut up the Ace 2.0 crowd, maybe even. I feel like we still haven't seen enough of Sabo to really pin him down yet, but I hope that you're right about this. I like to see an ally fighter who's just a bit too enthusiastic about violence, the way villains usually are, just because Oda's pretty good about gray areas in morality. We've already tread the former bad guy helps out route a couple times, so it'd be nice to see a former ally goes bad story. Even if it's not necessarily Sabo getting so bloodthirsty that Luffy or someone has to fight him, just someone telling him to cool it would be interesting. The Straw Hats all get along so well, and while I enjoy that, a little friction between friends can make for a good story. Dude, a brother on brother fight is just so freaking good in any anime. I've never seen a bad one. I know it's not the best example, but there's like the Naruto versus Sasuke. I know they're not brothers, but they kind of are. You have Sasuke versus Itachi, and yeah, that's all the brothers I know in anime. But hey, they were good fights. They were good fights, all I'm saying. The comment below that says, yeah, getting a Sabo cool it from Dragon would be fire. Yeah, literally would be fire. Sabo is serious, firm, and kind in the manga. The sadistic laughter is just the fluff they added by the anime studio, who probably wouldn't even remember what they did in the next episode. If you want to dissect the manga, not the anime. With the anime, you're just wasting time, as 90% of it is non-canon and won't be significant down the road. Remember the black-haired Marco in the anime? The anime studio sure doesn't. This is true, but the main thing is that the anime can bring things into light that the manga did not have time to tackle. I really don't think that, this one-off Sabo scene is really like it for me to conceal that Sabo is a villain, but there's times where the anime will show things that the manga hasn't. Like in the most recent episode of One Piece, if you're caught up, here's spoiler alert for you guys, Jinbei is shown with Conqueror's Haki, Zoro was shown with Conqueror's Haki. Like, they are showing more than what the anime could show in their black and white panels. So I kind of disagree and agree with him. While sometimes the anime studios will do wacky things, sometimes they do really genius things, and sometimes Oda is right there at the helm saying, hey, make sure you add this in because I didn't have enough time. Damn, people really not seeing your point. Sabo literally catches himself in the clip right there. This is why I think it's important that you guys watch the clip for yourselves. Like I said, I'm linking it down below, because his eyes are like crazy for a second, and then after Fujitoda sends the meteor his way, his eyes revert to freaking normal. That is intentional. It's not like, oh, they drew it a little bit weird right here. It's like, no, they drew the crazy eyes on Sabo. And he did it twice, man. He did it freaking twice. So I'm curious if they will tackle the evil side of Sabo. Oh my gosh, this is a huge... Oh my god, that's huge. What the hell? Wow, okay, so we're about to get into this one right here. So, I don't really see anything wrong with it. Sabo is feral. Unlike some people keep sticking those stereotypes to the ASL brothers, always making Sabo seem like the most collected and wise one out of the three, when in fact, especially as adults, Sabo isn't a collected and calm person at all. He's reckless, he's ruthless to his enemies. He's got a lot of undealt rage under that top hat. Sabo hates the corrupt system of the One Piece world, and he wasn't there to save Ace, his brother. Being taunted by the fact that he couldn't be there, couldn't save his brother, he's very driven now to protect Luffy instead. There's a lot of guilt on Sabo, not just because of his memories, but because he doesn't really feel like he did a lot for Luffy yet. He was very, very relieved to see that Luffy accepted him so quickly when Sabo returned. Meanwhile, Sabo had an internal struggle and many insecurities about meeting Luffy again because Luffy could have blamed him. Luffy could have been mad at him, could have punched him. Sabo thought that all these things before revealing himself to Luffy, but Luffy, as pure and kind as he is, didn't even forgive Sabo because there was nothing to forgive. He was just happy to have his brother back, and Luffy needed to hear Sabo saying, I'm happy you're alive, because Luffy already dealt and still deals with a lot of the guilt of Ace's death too. These brothers all very much care for each other to the point that they would do anything for each other. Fighting off your brother's enemies is one of the many things they do. However, Ace, in comparison, turned out to be very different as an adult. Ace had deep-seated self-worth issues that stemmed from a traumatic early life in which everyone either didn't care about him or only saw the worst things about him, which were out of his control. That informed how he saw himself, others, and the world around him. After Sabo's death, he put all of his efforts into improving himself for Luffy's sake and grows as a person. He seemed so calm, polite, and collected as his adult self, but child Ace was reckless because he didn't value his life that much at all. That changed after Sabo's death. Ace realized he had no one else but Luffy, and Luffy needed Ace, a brother, someone, anyone to protect him, to be there for him. Ace took up that role on his own. Sabo wrote Ace in his letter to take care of Luffy, and while Ace would have done it anyways, it feels like a debt or a promise to Sabo that he has to fulfill, so he did. He took all the responsibilities of an older brother on his own and gave Luffy a safe place despite Ace being a child himself. Ace matured quickly after Sabo's death due to the traumatic experience, its guilt again, and the need to prove himself. Ace saw a reason to stay alive, and that is to protect Luffy and to be a good, perfect role model brother. Sabo as a kid, in comparison to Ace, was more patient, likely kinder than Ace, especially towards Luffy. Ace had very much a temper and assumed tsundere-like behavior, resorting in violence quickly when he was touched or ashamed or even mildly provoked. Sabo was more calm then, reminded Ace to keep it down, but Ace never listened. Now that Sabo was gone, Ace was left alone with a much younger brother and needed to toughen up and be strong for Luffy. And that's what he did. He got more careful, learned manners to be more polite and responsible. He always watched out for Luffy, kind of even raised him. And those are characteristics that remind you very much of Sabo. I believe Ace took them on because Sabo was someone you could rely on, and Ace's self-worth was already low, but it got increasingly less with Sabo's death. So he carried the burden and forced himself to change into something better. A good, responsible older brother as we know him now, adult Ace. He's still got a temper, however, he has become increasingly more patient, more careful and calculating. It's a huge contrast. It's as if Ace's adopted Sabo's characteristics, while Sabo adopted Ace's characteristics, most of all, his anger towards the world. Both of it felt different in context. If we look at Sabo now, he suddenly seems so angry and violent, but Sabo was literally just like that. He lost a brother that could have maybe saved if he only remembered him. The loss of his freedom, being born a noble and getting abused by his parents, and found out about their rottenness and got sick of the way they treated every non-nobles. Sabo got angry at the people of Goa, at the world, for all that. The celestial dragons force people to live as slaves. They act like gods and treat everybody below them worse than trash. For Sabo, who grew up among very similar people and saw their true ugly nature, it's like a personal mission to bring them down. He's angry for many good reasons, but his driving force is mostly his sense of justice and the guilt he feels. He saw how quickly a person you love can lose their life, namely Ace, and he won't let it happen again. He will protect Luffy at any cost, and he will pursue his goal the same way. Sabo was and always has been very driven, angry. His anger had just paled in comparison to Ace's as a child, but Sabo grew up and so did his anger at the world grew. I see nothing wrong with him. I see no reason for that being weird either. Sabo just has no patience to be careful with his enemies. In his position, that's the most logical move because they wouldn't hesitate to kill him on the spot either. That is true. Like, if they capture Sabo, 100% they're gonna execute him, like guaranteed, right? Sabo, the second commander of the Revolutionary Army, if they capture this man, he's dead. On the spot, no questions asked. Why would he be merciful if they're not merciful to him? The only reason I think it's weird, or, I'm even thinking about him becoming a villain, is simply because there's a lot of characters in One Piece that don't act that way. That even though if Luffy were to get caught, Luffy doesn't have joy killing them or, smashing their head in. That is the only difference and the only reason I'm actually thinking about this, whole theory seriously, or even like taking it into context. Sabo is always and has always been feral. He's a rebel, a true revolutionary. Adult Sabo parallels Ace a lot, while adult Ace parallels young Sabo a lot. I believe the two of them kind of adapted each other's personality trait as some way to cope with the loss and grief they feel. And I think it's even happening subconsciously for the most part. And Ace also attempted to kill Blackbeard, Kaido, etc. So it's not really news that Luffy's brothers always had a different way of dealing with people, enemies, and the world. Also, Sabo never mentions this to Luffy, but he basically warned Fujitora he would forget his position and come to his brother's aid no matter what. You know what? Maybe this theory's trash. Maybe Sabo really is a good guy. This guy has brought me back into the light. Sabo's good. And, to also add fuel to the fire that Sabo is more than likely a good guy, back in the last two movies for One Piece, Sabo has arrived at the aid of his brother, namely for the Revolutionary Army, but he did stay for his brother at the end of the day. You had Sabo in freaking Stampede, and he's over here fighting Buena Festa. You have Sabo in Film Gold fighting off Rob Lucci. Like, Sabo has always been in the background, and we've only seen Sabo, the crazy Sabo, twice. But we've seen good Sabo more than that amount of times as well. So, yeah, like I'm saying, I think Sabo's truly a good guy. I personally just thought it would be interesting if we did see Luffy and Sabo fight. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Finishing off this guy's whole post here, and we and Sabo know very well that Luffy would basically never take him up on it. But here's the thing. He isn't saying this to Luffy, he's saying it to a Navy Admiral. Sabo is the second highest ranking member of the entire army dedicated to bringing down the world government. If he ever did decide to bring the full force of that army to his brother's defense, the only man who could stop him is Luffy's own father. This is not a statement that the Navy could take lightly. This is basically Sabo saying, you want another Marine forward because that's how you're gonna get another Marine forward. That's Sabo for you. I find it hilarious that sometimes people here blame Ace for his recklessness or his temper when Sabo is way, quote unquote, worse in that sense, and very much a hot-headed, pun intended. Dude, I agree with, I really like this dude's post. I think this was very insightful. If you had any doubt that Sabo was a good guy, this definitely brings you back to the light. And he kind of brought me back a little bit too. But yeah, mainly the whole reason I pulled up this theory in the first place was because I thought it was interesting. I think it still is interesting if Sabo does become a bad guy to some extent. But at the end of the day, he is definitely good. And like I said, he's had Luffy's back way more than once. And I really love what he did say to Fujitora, where he said, hey, if you go after Luffy, I'm going after you. No matter where you are, I will drop everything I'm doing to go fight you. And even if he doesn't bring his whole revolutionary army with him, even though he forsakes his position, you know they're going to follow him. Because at the end of the day, the whole of the revolutionary army is his Nakama, Dragon included. I mean, I don't know, Dragon seems more rational than anything, but yeah. I don't know what's going on in the comments, but for real though, Sabo's eyes were all crazy looking, and then they reverted back as soon as he got caught. That's what I'm saying. This is a weird off moment. I don't know, like, I'm really torn. At one point, it's like, yeah, Sabo, he could be bad if you really stretch it. But I do want to believe in the good on him. All right, next comment. Almost as if a big part of his reasoning for fighting the world government is his hatred for them and his desire for revenge. That's a good point. That's a good point. At the end of the day, Luffy and everybody else has defeated thousands and thousands of Marines and did not care at all. So why does Sabo crushing in a vice admiral's head matter so much? Is it because of the death aspect? Because Luffy, Zoro, and everybody else probably unintentionally killed so many people. Honestly, if I was a random Marine and Luffy hit me with a singular pistol, not even gear second, not even gear third, I would have broken ribs. Like, Sabo almost crushing this guy's skull is one thing. Luffy punching me once and breaking my ribs is another. Sanji kicking me in the neck, boom, I'm paralyzed. If you really think about One Piece in a very serious way, dude, a lot of these dudes are dying left and right. Let's be real here. Oda doesn't want to say they're killing people. They're low-key killing people. I love the sadistic hidden side of him. Hope it gets explored more. I think the sadistic side of him can be explored more, and maybe it's explored in a way where he isn't a villain. But even like that one comment at the very top said, even if we just have one panel of Luffy or Dragon or somebody saying, hey, Sabo, I know we want to defeat the world government, but maybe you don't have to crush everybody's heads in. I think even that itself would be a nice payoff. Why would revolutionaries that have seen how evil and terrible the world government can be care about hurting people who are killing tools of the government? It's not exactly that simple, but Sabo came to Dressrosa where the government has protected Dofi's warlord freedom for years. Fuji might be a good Marine, but the world government has upheld a terrible order of things for a while now, and many revolutionaries' motivations come from a response to that. Not trying to justify Sabo's actions, but it's not terribly surprising to me that the revolutionaries don't have much sympathy for their enemies. I agree with this, and I'm not blaming Sabo for having this mindset, but I'm gonna say I mainly have a problem with this right here. Fuji might be a good Marine, but the world government has upheld a terrible order of things. When people become a Marine, generally they don't say, oh, I can't wait to work for those Celestials. I can't wait to help these people enslave more fishmen. They are just doing their job, and they join the Marines, I would assume, to protect their city, to protect random civilians. At the end of One Piece, there still has to be Marines. Marines still have to exist to some extent. I know our goal is most likely to take down the world government. That's fine. Take them down. Take down the Celestials. Take down CP0. But leave the common day Marines. Leave people like Fujitora, people like, not Sabo, people like Kobe, people like Garp. They need to be there to make sure the world doesn't go into a chaos spree, to make sure that pirates don't go around killing every single innocent person. You know what I mean? The world of One Piece, and even our real world, is not that black and white. Where there's good guys, there's bad guys. And if you flip the script, the bad guys are sometimes the good guys in other people's point of views. That's just how it is. And like I said, Sabo killing a random Marine is fine. It happens 1,000 times in One Piece. No big deal. But when you really just look at this comment here, it's just a bad mindset. This is the type of person that kind of says, oh, all the admirals have to go. All the admirals are evil. All Marines are bad, and that's not a good way to end it, right? Because if we end One Piece without any law or order, pirates will go willy-nilly. And while pirates like Luffy exist that are good, there's pirates that also pillage villages, pirates that destroy people, pirates that kill people, and that's not good. You need the Sword Initiative to really step up and shine by the end of One Piece. These Marines that are good people really need to take some sort of spotlight before the series ends, and I kind of hope Oda shines more of a spotlight on characters like Kobe, because I think seeing how corrupt the world government is from their perspective might give us a lot more insight into the whole structure of the Marines in general. And maybe it'll even inspire some sympathy as well. Next time we have a war, we'll also feel bad for the Marines that are falling down, like Kobe did. He said, hey, pirates are dying, Marines are also dying, everybody here has a family. We don't all have to die. Just take out the main people and then it's over. Like, stop fighting. We don't need to fight excessively. And I really like what Kobe said there. It has a lot of impact. And it really just shows that there's no good or bad people. This is really diving more into like the logistics of One Piece rather than Sabo being bad or evil. But yeah, it's fun to tackle and it's fun to see where people go with these comments. Sabo's a revolutionary. They specifically go after the most effed up and twisted situations caused by the world government. And he's been doing that for, I think, at least 10 years. It makes perfect sense that he finds some kind of pleasure in repaying them for what they've done to others. But the thing is, this Vice Admiral, like I said before, there's a good chance this Vice Admiral has not done anything bad other than his job. This guy's literally getting paid probably peanuts to just uphold the world government standards, and this guy's getting destroyed, at least from Sabo's viewpoint. However, I think you are on the right track. I think that the storyline will be that Sabo realizes he is turning into what he initially hated by viewing the government the same way the Celestial Dragons viewed commoners, as trash that can be thrown away or eliminated. Sabo will be very close to finishing off a noble. Honestly, I think it could be Charlos for some full circle BS. And then one of the Luffy's Nakamas, my guess Sanji, but F it, Kachan, just for the real full circle laugh, will stop him with some profound nonsense in the moment. I could see that, like maybe Sabo goes on an actual killing spree. He starts killing world nobles left and right, which, you know, honestly, I'm all about. They have slaves, you know, F these guys, like get rid of them. But and then when he starts attacking random Marines that are just doing their jobs and maybe killing them too, it's like, whoa, like we need to back up a little bit. We need to reassess this. Get rid of the bad guys, leave the people who are just doing their jobs and thinking that they're protecting the world. And to be honest, like every time we've seen Marines and Celestial Dragons, they don't look that happy that they're there. They're like, you know, like this guy, you know, this dude riding on this giant. Ooh, wow, don't like him. So I really don't get the sense that Marines even like Celestials. He is a criminal after all. I like that. I mean, technically, yeah. I mean, all pirates are the bad, you know, typically the bad guys of this story, like I said. But Luffy, being a really good pirate, he shows a different side of pirates that a lot of people in the story have not seen. That's why whenever Luffy shows up to a village, like half the time they're like, oh my god, it's a pirate. Oh my god, guys, run away, it's pirates. Remember Usopp's main lie? Like, hey guys, pirates are coming. And then everybody like runs for the hills. Like, pirates aren't like the good guys in this story. I hope we don't forget that. There's good pirates, but there's also bad pirates. There's good Marines, there's bad Marines. It's a give and take scenario, man. But yeah, Sabo being a revolutionary is somewhere in the middle, right? Like, he is pirate-ish, but he's not necessarily pirate. He hates the world government, but he also hates them maybe too much. That's what I love about Sabo, is that he's clearly a little unhinged. And people don't see that because he was only seen in Dressrosa, and people are too busy calling him Ace 2. Like, it definitely wasn't great how Oda brought in a cool brother after the first cool brother died, but he's still real. I like this comment. A lot of the word cool, and I agree, Sabo is pretty cool despite having a hot power. I hear the seeds have been planted for Sabo to be a hero with a psychopathic disorder, and I get it, but it's so few things I can't help but wonder if maybe this isn't even the intended read for Sabo. The Burgess scene, for example, wanting revenge for a brother dying isn't really indicative of anything, but a human ego boost is kinda creepy. An out-of-character moment perhaps. Maybe Oda wanted Sabo to come across as confident in his combat abilities and condescending, but it just sounded weird. I don't know. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, the whole scene is strange. I really wish they developed Sabo's character more, or maybe we see more of him on the side. But what if this isn't a one-off thing? That's the main reason here. That's the main takeaway. These videos are really just for fun. I love seeing what people think about the character, and if I'm wrong, which I personally am leaning towards the camp that Sabo is a good guy inherently, but if I'm wrong, I'm happy to be proven wrong. I am not, like I said earlier, I'm not black and white. I'm in the gray. I am easily changeable. If you just convince me that Sabo could be a bad guy, and if Oda shows enough of it, I will believe it. That's how it works, and I think that's how a lot of people have to work too. I think it's good to keep an open mind, especially about a world and huge cast like One Piece. You have to be open to accept change and to accept that, oh, maybe Oda was foreshadowing this, or maybe we're looking too deep into this scenario. We'll look at one more comment. It'd be interesting to see the Revolutionary Army be something that isn't black and white. Real life revolution often has people who disagree, be it counter-revolutionaries or other adversaries, be crushed or executed. Hell, Lenin had the Tsar and his entire family executed and did a lot more irksome things to adversities. I'm pronouncing this super wrong. Sorry, I have like a bite, or I bit my tongue earlier and it's not feeling too good right now. But his ideology is one that many around the world still believe in. Revolutionaries aren't glorious or idealistic. It's the manifestation of two contradictory forces fighting to impose one's ideology over the other. It's kind of what Doflamingo said when he was being shipped off to Impel Down. He's like, who's going to come out on top? Like, the winners write the history books. The winners are the ones who choose what's right and wrong. If the revolutionaries win, then they will say, oh yeah, by the way, all the Marines are bad. We're the good guys. If the Marines win, hey, we're the good guys. The revolutionaries are bad. They're bad people. That's, at the end of the day, that's how One Piece is. And I really like that Oda took, I would say, kind of a realistic approach to how the world works. And I'm really curious to see what he does with Sabo's character, because I really do like the psychopathic brother aspect of it. While I don't believe this theory entirely, I do think that having a psychopathic brother in a Luffy versus Sabo fight would be pretty dang clutch. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for joining me on this Sabo adventure. Please let me know down below what you think. Do you think Sabo is good? Do you think he is evil? Or if you are on the side that he is good like I am, do you want him to become evil? Because that would be a really cool plot point. Or do you think, no, he should stay good, he should stay a revolutionary? And a secondary question, do you think the world of One Piece is black and white? Do you think all Marines are evil? Do you think all pirates are evil? Or do you think, no, there can be change, there can be good Marines, there could be good pirates out there besides Luffy? And at the end of the day, this is kind of a big discussion, but I'm glad you guys are here with me. Thanks for joining me. I'll leave a link to my Discord, my second Twitch channel, or my Twitch channel, and my second YouTube channel in the comments down below. It would really mean a lot if you followed me on those. If not, that's a-okay. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please consider liking, subbing, and commenting down below. I would love to hear what you guys think. And with that being said, peace out. If you have another discussion video that I should tackle, please link that down below as well. I'll be more than happy to check it out. Peace out.